This is totally not the topic I initially started filming to. How did I get that perfect on the first try? Anyway, have you ever read May Miserables? What? Let me try that again. Les Miserables. No. Les Mis. You know, Les Miserables. LesmisaA. I forget how to spell. I do not have the mental capacity for that right now. I do not. But I do remember there was a scene, I think in the first third of the book, maybe the second third, um, there was a scene. So basically, this pastor guy, this priest, he lets uh, an indigent or whatever you want to call a hobo of that time, a lumpen proletariat, someone who is like bottom of the barrel, homeless, does not have a job that the king would approve of, that kind of stuff. Um. Anyway, uh, he lets him into the parish or whatever you want to call his house, and the guy steals the silverware and like gets away in the middle of the night, and the constable catches him. The guy that stole the silverware brings him to the priest's house, and is like, "Is this your silverware?" And the priest looks and he sees the silverware that's been stolen by this man, and he said, "I gave that to that man." When people have stolen from me in the past because it was a scam and I was falling for it by being naive because I have a big heart, um, this isn't about anything recently. This is about whenever I mention to people, like I'll casually mention to my skill building worker, "Yeah, I was telling so and so." He was asking me what I do for a living, and I explained that I'm currently selling stocks to make ends meet. She was like, "Well, be careful who you tell your financial business to," and it's like, I don't tell people more than it's normal to tell people. Like, where do I get this money from? I'm not going to just leave it a mystery and make them think I'm a stripper, you know? I sell stocks that I inherited, and I donated over. I stopped counting at $51,000. That's how much I donated in the first like 3 years of having inheritance. And it's been more than that since then, but I stopped counting because that was the amount I had to fulfill was 50,000, and then I did a little bit extra just because I loved it so much. Um, but I'm sure thousands of dollars went to scammers because not every single person I donated to, like, it's impossible for every single one of them to have been honest, even the ones that I didn't realize were scammers. But of course, there were also people who they asked for more and more and more very rapidly, and they made up excuses and lies out, like blatant outright lies that, like, the visuals on the computer screen do not lie the way this person is lying. Like, two things are not matching up. So eventually I catch on to the scammer. God, I need to look how bad my nails are. I feel like I was in a coma myself. Uh, but no, I was just sleeping. I was in a depression coma. Just sleeping for 3 days in a row, and then getting up for like one day maybe, and then sleeping for another 2 days, and so on and so forth. Anyway, um, when people steal from me, the way I see it is just like that priest, pastor, whatever you want to call him in the book. When he tells the constable, "No, no, don't worry, I gave that to him." Um, that's what I think of when people steal from me. Because, like, what are they going to take away from me? that actually matters. Money, I can get more money. The people who feel the need to steal from me cannot get money the way I can. Otherwise, they would. They would go the honest route if they could. And I'm privileged to be able to go the honest route in a way that I couldn't in the past. And I wish my mom was still around to see how amazing I've been doing. And it all started with me getting sober and then her having an accident and me maintaining sobriety literally until like hours, I want to say, after she died. Even though she was in the hospital for 10 days unconscious in a coma, medically induced, so that she had time to heal potentially, and all this, that, and the other, ECMOS or whatever, something about the bypass or whatever it was they did initially, it wasn't working, so they put her on the state-of-the-art technology, and she kept declining. And the entire time I was thinking, she's gonna get better. She always does. She's survived so many things. She's gonna get through this too. And I'm gonna nurse her back to health. And it's all gonna work out. And then by the time she was declining, I was not prepared to travel. And I wasn't there in time for her passing. And I hate that I couldn't attend because I wanted to. I should have told her that before she died. That would have been a very good detail to tell her while she was in the coma is, hey, I want to be there, but I don't have anxiety meds and I need those to travel. But I don't know, she was so unconscious. It's kind of hard to figure out what to say to someone when they're unconscious. And I didn't want to tell her, hey, I'm preparing for you to die. Because, like, I thought that would be, like, the worst thing to say for her morale. So I pretended that she would be okay right up to the very last. Up until, like, I think it was like 24 hours before she passed, all the family was there. And I started crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. And I went to bed knowing that when I woke up, she would not be with us anymore. She passed away as the sun was rising, and she was facing a window when it happened. And the entire family was singing along to her favorite songs on the radio, which was the Beatles. And the song they were singing as the sun came up was "Here Comes the Sun." And it's been almost a year to the day since that 27th of January. And it's only within the past maybe 2-3 months have I become able to listen to that song without breaking down crying. Usually without context. Like in a supermarket. I was hoping I wouldn't ruin my makeup. But it's okay. It'll look awesome when the mascara tear tracks dry. Sorry for sniffling and being gross. I'm looking around and I managed to not put any... Well, I guess there's tissues right there. Not many, but a couple. Is my mascara actually holding up? Oh, that's crazy. Shout out to Mac. MAC, Makeup Artist Cosmetics. I can't believe my mascara is still intact. That's amazing. I'm going to blow my nose off camera. Well, that took off the highlighter on my nose. Just on the tip. It looks naked now. Did I take it off my... Yeah, I need to put some more on my chin. And right here. I love highlighters so much. What was I talking about earlier, besides my mom passing away? Oh yeah, Les Mis. So yeah, I'm sure the thousands of dollars that got scammed from me, not all of it ended up in good hands, but that's kind of just the nature of giving your money away. You can't decide whose hands it ends up in. You need to give freely. Especially since I can slap on some white face paint and some pink nose, like a pink nose and pink lipstick and pink eyeshadow, and suddenly I'm a clown, and now I can go to a birthday party and make $500, $600, $700 in a single day. It's just, yeah. I feel like the idea that you shouldn't tell people how much money you make is steeped in union busting propaganda, and that people should know realistically what their peers are spending roughly. Like, you should be able to estimate, like, how much your friend's apartment costs, but also your friend should be able to tell you, hey, yeah, I landed in an apartment for only $2,000 a month. That would be awesome. And if you don't feel comfortable telling them how much you pay in rent and utilities where you live, like, where do you, I just, that's, it's just weird to me to not want people, like, if you're doing really, really well off, I understand hiding how well you're doing. What I don't understand is people who are barely scraping by and are making ends meet and are living paycheck to paycheck. I don't understand them being secretive about their finances. We are all dirt poor, including me. I don't have the money I started with, and that's okay. That's the nature of money. You're gonna run out of it quickly if you don't start out with an income when you get the inheritance. And I didn't have an income for the longest time ever since I got married, because once I got married, they took away my disability benefits, and I can't get them back until I work for 2 years and qualify for disability on my own, instead of my belated biological father who was also on disability. Um, so yeah, it's like I'm not really competitive with other clowns. I'm not competitive with clowns to be. If you want to get into clowning, then like I can, like, I just got a cheap magic kit and like watch YouTube videos on how to do magic tricks, and I want to get into tying balloons because everybody asks that I tie balloons. I don't know how to, like, I can twist them, but I can't really figure out, like, it's like tying a tie. It's complicated. But anyway, I want to learn more clown skills myself before I finish being a clown. But by the time I'm done being a clown, I hope to pass this knowledge on, freely given to all the people who need an honest living. Can you imagine if we had more, like, if I remember seeing this music video called The Beatdown back when I was nannying, and it was these black young gentlemen, and they were all clowns, and they did a rap video, and this little boy I was nannying, he was 2 years old, and he was going through a rough time in his life, and that was one of his favorite music videos, and it made him so happy. And I was like, you know what? I want to be a clown one day. I want to bring that much joy to a child. And now, kids who aren't afraid of clowns, they ask their parent for a clown, or the parent, like, wants to surprise their kid with a clown. And I post these anonymous Facebook, or not, I always say Facebook for some reason. I don't have a Facebook. Um, I post these anonymous Craigslist ads with no pictures. It's honestly pretty sketch, but I keep it sketch so that I can't be identified from one ad to the next to the next to the next, so that none of the kids at these parties I go to get put in harm's way. And I feel like I'm a bad fit for children's parties. Um, Most of the parties I go to, um, unless like the parents specifically request a topic, which doesn't happen often, I tell them that I prefer to be silent, and they're like, "That's okay. We're fine with a silent clown." Um, yeah, you don't even need to speak to be a clown. You could be a non-speaking autistic person and be a clown. And it's yeah. And I didn't start being a clown until August of 2025. And by then my mom was no longer with us, so she never saw me get back on my feet enough to start a gig. Um, Even though I always said I wanted a gig kind of job. And she was like, you need to think more realistically about what kind of career you want. And it's like, come on. Oh, I need to do gig work in order to earn money while I study for my PhD. Um, and she was like, okay, that's more acceptable. Because she always wanted me to be a doctor. I don't think, ever since my traumatic brain injury, I don't think I could be a doctor. Um, PhD, probably not. I don't think, I think I am thoroughly disabled in the learning department. And I don't know how much of it was there before the head injury, because I still need to get a genetic test done to really just rule out one last diagnosis. Um, I want to find out if I have Williams syndrome or not. I don't know how many of you know people with Down syndrome, but they'll have this line all the way across their hand. I don't have it on both hands. I have a double line. See, there's a line there and a line there. But on this hand, I have a simian crease. And it was just kind of a fun fact for the longest time. And then the older I get, the more I realize that there is developmentally something wrong with me. And then I always thought there was something chromosomally weird about me. And I don't even know when I first suspected it, but I want to say it was elementary school. And ever since I went to the Department of Motor let me calm down. I'm starting to stutter. Let me drink some of this, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, as I was saying, I specifically put a pin in the line of thought so I wouldn't forget. The Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV. I went to the DMV with my mom and my stepdad back when she was still with us. And she was really, really, really incessant about me getting a driver's license. And I passed the written test with flying colors. I might have missed like one or two. And then I had to do the behind the road test. Mind you, I have driven in the past. I started driving when I was 17 on my own. And I've drove from Texas to Buffalo, New York. From correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I was in North Fort Worth. Somewhere about Fort Worth. And then I went all the way to Buffalo, New York. No, wait. Other way around. Yeah, that's right. I started out in Buffalo, and I went... Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, my God. I went from place to place to place to place to place for the longest time. I went from Georgia to Buffalo, New York in, like, one trip. It took, like, 21 hours, including stopping every couple hours to take an hour nap. Maybe not even an hour. I could barely sleep on the road. I felt like I would get mugged. So I could barely sleep, but I would, rest. I would rest my eyes as best as I could without having a panic attack, and then I would get back on the road. And then I would keep driving, and then I got to Buffalo, New York, and it turns out the place that was supposed to be my refuge did not actually want me there. And that's a whole another story. I miss my mom. I wish I could show her the Christmas makeup I did for 2025. Because it was really natural. I think she would have liked it a lot. She would have liked it a lot. She would have liked this makeup that I'm wearing right now. Especially... So my mascara did run just a little bit, but it held up pretty well. But this mascara is so gorgeous. And, she loved purple. She loved she loved the whole rainbow. But if you had to make her choose one color, she would say purple. People think my power color is purple because my mother's favorite color is purple. But her favorite color was actually the rainbow. So if I was going based off of that logic, my power color would be the rainbow. I chose purple as my power color because it is it is the color of power, both uh, um, historically and oftentimes in the present, like royal purple, for example. And it's also the color of spirituality and witchcraft and magic. So that's my power color. And then I like wearing pink when I'm feeling really, really feminine, whether that's in a masculine way or a feminine way. High femme, you know? I love being hyper feminine. Like, so feminine that it's like not a woman anymore. I need to trim my nails. I feel like I've talked enough for now. I need to get back to the dishes because I really need to knock out all these dishes and I'm making really good progress, so I need to finish what I can before I lose momentum because it is 4 in the morning. It is 4:33 in the morning. I have been venting, I think the word is, for 26 minutes. Thank you for listening. If you've lost your parents already, whatever your age is, I don't care. If you have lost one or more parents, especially if you've lost both parents or more than two parents, leave some advice. Whatever it was that got you through the first year and the second year, because that's what's coming up next. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.